Hey guys, I'm here today to talk to you about what do I think is one really easy thing that parents can do to help their kids in new situations. What is one way that you can alleviate stress on their part and really yours? Because if your kid is stressed out, then honestly, you are too, most likely. I'm talking about modeling a behavior, but even more than that, I'm talking about talking. So I'm using the word talking a lot. But so let's say the night before your 4-year-old is going to go to the dentist for the first time, you're going to talk to them about what to expect, that they're going to go into a room that's going to have all these weird machines and maybe there will be a TV. You should probably know, like it would be, if it's not the same dentist that you go to, it probably wouldn't hurt you to go to that dentist and find out like what the rooms look like so that you can describe it to your child. And I know that sounds like a lot of work, but I know back in the day when I would talk my kids through new situations, through new experiences that they were going to have, it alleviated their stress so much. So you would go in and you would talk about, okay, there's a big chair that you sit in, and my dentist gives me sunglasses because the light's going to be really bright, and talk through all of those things. And that doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect. I talked through all of those things with all three of my boys, and my middle son still would not open his mouth at the dentist until he was almost 5. He would not open it. He knew to go in and he was comfortable laying in that chair, but he was still a little bit ornery. But I didn't have to fight to get him there. There were no tears. And believe me, there were tears in different other situations, but he just didn't want to open his mouth. But so as your teenagers are getting ready to go through some of these new experiences, like driving, knowing how to get places and how to find them, going out on a first date, or even just going out to the movie with friends for the first time without you, all of those things are new. And honestly, they're stressful. So my advice to you as a mom, and maybe a dad if you're watching, is to do this. Have a conversation. Talk about what they can expect, good and bad. Hi, I'm Melanie from Parenting High Schoolers, and I like to talk once a week. So I think I'm going to start doing it twice a week this summer about what you can expect as you parent your teens. The good, the bad. How can you help your teen be a better person? How can we take this journey together through these teenage years? And I hope that what I have to say is helpful. So again, I'm Melanie from Parenting High Schoolers, and today we're just talking about what is one strategy you could use as a parent in almost every situation to help your teen. And so back to having these conversations. So let's say your daughter is getting ready for the first time to go out the next night with friends to a movie without you, and she's never done this before. Whether she's 8 or 12 or however old you let her do this, there are some things she needs to know. Maybe you guys go to the movie to yourselves as a family to remind her what it's like to go to a movie, that she's going to have to pay, that this is where it is to get the food, and if she's going to get food, how's that going to work? Even though that seems like a really silly thing to do, the first time our teens do things without us, it can be scary. And I think if we look back, things were a lot different when I know for sure when I was a teenager, and a lot more kids did a lot of things without their parents. But now parents are so protective, and I think the reins are a little tighter for some of the things that our kids want to do, that we need to role play. We need to talk about what is to expect. What if you don't have enough money? Or, always take a little bit more than you think you're going to need. Even if you have a debit card, and how is that going to work? Does your child know how to use a debit card? If they have just gotten one, that would be something to practice while you are around. But anyway, back to the movie scenario. Just knowing to maybe always have a $20 bill tucked into the back of their phone, just in case. These are just simple things. What if your daughter gets to the movie and those other friends have decided that they're going to lie to their parents, and an older boy is going to pick them up and take them somewhere? This can happen. So what will your daughter's strategy be in any situation? Not just that one, but any situation that she wants to get herself out of. Now, that's not to say that boys can't get themselves into situations that they want to get out of. Have a code word. Have a number that they text you, a special number or a special word, and all it means is please come get me. And if you track them, then you're going to know where they are. Otherwise, they need to tell you, obviously, where they are. Tell them that they to go to the bathroom, because who's going to check on them in the stall? So they go to the bathroom and they text you what has happened and where they are and what's going on. They need to be prepared. And I think you can do it in a way that is just like, you know what? You just never know. And so here's some things. Now, hopefully it's going to all be great. You 5 girls are going to meet at the movie. You're going to have a really good time. You're going to eat popcorn. And then so-and-so's mom's going to come pick you up and you're going to go home. But that is, you just don't know about other kids and their situations. So I would say to always have your child be prepared. You could have, your teen could have a situation where they go to a friend's house and it ends up their older brother's having a party. And so what should your son do in that situation, or your daughter? Again, my suggestion would be to find a way to kind of leave the room and let you know what's going on, that there are exit strategies that don't have to be obvious. Talk before any new event, whether it's driving for the first time. And some of it is just sort of, you will have talked them through all these different scenarios when you're driving. Now, this is the shortest way to get from the grocery store to high school. If you have to pick up your little brother, it's quicker to go this way to his school. Just different. I know, like, I talked out loud, really, when my boys were babies. I mean, I've just continued to talk out loud because there are things that they're going to soak in. They may not want to hear it. And they may go, Mom, I already know. But you know what? It's never going to hurt them to hear it again. Role play. There are so many things that you could help them out with. Just how to broach a subject with another adult, how to confront a friend about something that is bothering them, how to ask a girl out or a boy out, how to break up, which, sadly is going to happen probably too. All of these things, if you can talk about them before they happen, role play to practice different scenarios. And of course, real life is never going to happen just like you practice. It's just not. But they will have gathered this information, this advice that you've given them. And somewhere in there, they're going to be able to formulate a plan. And then that's the thing. You need to just tell them, think outside the box. If you really can't get to your phone or your phone dies, well, that's the other thing. Their phone should always be charged before they leave your house. That was something that one of my boys always would end up saying, oh, my phone died. Well, I stopped letting him go. I'm like, well, you know what? If your phone isn't charged at least 75% before you leave, you can't go. And that stopped that real quick. All of a sudden it was charged all the time. So there are easy ways to parent through those kinds of situations. At the third time it happened, I'm like, no more. You are staying here tonight because let me see your phone. And it was only charged like 26%. Sorry, you were warned. So model behaviors that you want to see your child have, and that can be part of that role playing. What is an appropriate response? How do you ask this question nicely? All those different kinds of situations are so much easier for our teens. And teen anxiety is a really prevalent thing in today's times. And I think a lot of it is because we forget that for us, these aren't new things. We've been doing these things forever. But to them, it's new and it's scary. And even if they don't want to tell us it's scary, or even if they can't even verbalize that they're scared, we need to remember what all these new things are like. And like I said, when they were little, we would talk them through the next day's dentist appointment or what the first day of school is going to look like. Well, our teenagers need that same prompting. So talk to your teen before things are going to happen. Even if it's like out there, like dating, talk through different scenarios when they're 12, because they're going to start liking the other sex or the same sex or whoever. They're going to like somebody at some point. And so if you've already had some of these conversations, it won't be so scary. Now, some of the kids are going to just know what to do and they have all the confidence in the world and awesome. But some kids don't, and they are going to have questions. And sometimes they don't even know what questions to ask. So just sort of in your own mind, think back. What's something that happened to a friend of mine? Or what's a scenario that I've heard about or read about that I want to make sure my kids know about? You're going to role play, you're going to talk before an event, and you're going to model any kind of behaviors that you want them to have. A good one to model, just that comes to mind off the top of my head, is what if they're pulled over? Should they, yes, they should be respectful to the police officer, even if they don't think they've done anything wrong. And it probably could be something as simple as their back taillight is out or their license plate is expired. I mean, it could be nothing, but they cannot get all up belligerent and disrespectful and not do what the police officer says. Even if they've done something wrong, they for sure need to say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. If they ask for their license and registration, they need to get it out in a really pleasant and polite way. These are all things that are going to go so far to alleviating stress, reducing any kind of problems that could occur, and just helping our kids through like the day-to-day situations that we have forgotten that can be scary and overwhelming when they're new. I highly advise that you have talks with your kids all the time anyway, but for sure about things that are coming up that might be new. Like my video, 2 thumbs up. I would love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see you here next week.